Hey guys, welcome back to the Stella herself podcast. As always, thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to screenshot this, send it to me on IG, post it to your story, tag me. I love seeing who is listening and watching, and I love all of your responses throughout the week. It's so fun. I love our community. I said this in last week's episode as well, but especially love the community on IG. Recently, as of recently, I've just been having so much fun on there and chatting with you guys, and it's just been amazing. So make sure you're following, have post notifications on, all of that. Let's just get into it, y'all. I feel like, some weeks I have grand topic. It was a little dramatic. Some weeks I have very specific topics that, I want to fully research, and sometimes I'm just very compelled to talk about something specific. This is not one of those weeks. I feel like I have a lot of different topics, and I mostly just want to chat with y'all and catch up. And I think part of that just has to do with the fact that I haven't been vlogging as much, so I just feel like I have so much to talk with you guys about. So let me know your thoughts on anything we discussed down below, but hopefully this goes well. Okay, it's Monday, y'all. I had a week. I kind of had a weekend. I went out for the first time in so long. I can't even remember the last time I had tequila before this past weekend, because I just really haven't been going out. I've gone to dinner, but I haven't really gone to any bars or just out. And I think because of that, it just got a little out of control. Not that it was so crazy or anything. But I think what really did it for me was this bartender gave me and my two girlfriends a shot, and I definitely did not need that shot. But when you're already kind of lit and it just sounds like a good idea. You're yeah, perfect. Wow. So I think that's what really put me over the edge. So yesterday on Sunday, I was definitely hungover, and I just felt so dumb because I was bitch, I just know I was not drinking water. At the end of last year, I was for most of last year, I was so good about staying hydrated when I would drink or go out to a bar. I would have a water with every drink. There were some times where I should have been so much more hungover than I was, but I was smart and responsible. And first of all, I just didn't drink too much, but also was hydrating, etc. And it's when you don't do that for a while, you just forget, which is a good thing, because it's I haven't been drinking or going out. But yeah, but honestly, yesterday, it's not it was the worst hangover of my life. I was kind of feeling gross in the morning, but then by the afternoon, I was able to do a mini clean with me. I did laundry, washed my sheets, and then was able to make food and watch Euphoria. So all in all, it was it worked out. But bitch, I did not mean to get that lit, but it's just hadn't seen my friends in a while. Everyone wanted to buy us shots or give us shots. It's just one thing led to another. And it wasn't even crazy. That's the thing. I don't know. Just yeah, it was actually a pretty chill time, but just the shots just really added up. So that's great. But now we're I'm ready to go back to the routine. And honestly, I really feel I needed that. Just because I have really been in the house a lot since the holidays and everything. And I know I've talked about it before. I just feel I'm a very independent person, introverted. I can spend a lot of time alone. I can be at home by myself all day and be fine with that. But too many days in a row, or even too many weeks in a row, bro, especially with the pandemic, I start to get just too much in my head. My anxiety starts to get more, just a little more heightened. So sometimes, not that that's oh yeah, let me go and drink so much, but no regrets, whatever. Sometimes it's you almost forget who you are until you go out and are around other people. And I think that's just a fact because we are like social creatures. So even though some of us are more likely to, I don't know, be comfortable being alone, and like, you know, some people are just more introverted, it's like you still need human interaction. And like human interaction beyond just like saying hi to your neighbor or like talking to the cashier at Whole Foods, you know. But I like self-checkout. I don't really want to talk, but sometimes when you buy alcohol you can't go through the self-checkout, so yeah. So that's the vibe. But it was so funny because, I mean, not funny, I don't really know the severity of the situation, but all of the California coast had a tsunami warning over the weekend because a volcano erupted and was causing all of these like huge waves. So like my story was this TV at this bar that was like, oh yeah, tsunami warning issued for California, and then all the next slides were just like drinks. Perfect. Great way to deal with the world ending. I obviously was not affected. Even though I'm like close to the water, I don't like physically live close to the water, so it's not like I had an evacuation warning. But I know one of you guys messaged me and she said she lives like 5 minutes from the beach or something, and there was an evacuation, but then it got lifted. So I don't think it ever got that bad in California, like so I don't know, I could be wrong, but I just didn't hear of anything that was like crazy. I did see a couple videos of just like the beach, but it's like people were filming it, so I don't know. Have you ever watched like a tsunami video on YouTube and then the comments are like, why are they standing here recording it? Like, bro, shouldn't you be like getting the hell out of there? Anyway, it was also a full moon. Like, it's a lot. So wanted to give you guys a book update. Well, first of all, can we just do a caffeine update? Because all of last week I was like not really having any caffeine. I know for a fact all of last week I did not have any coffee, caffeine, anything when I first woke up. And I talk about this because I know some of you also deal with like stress and anxiety. I mean, I feel like the two are kind of different, but we're just gonna say both. And also I just was not craving coffee. Like, I feel like every time I had it before that, it was not hitting. I would never finish it. It just was not really even good to me. So I've been doing my bone broth, y'all, and that was a great replacement for the coffee in the morning with like a peppermint tea. But there was a couple days where I had no coffee at all, like no caffeine at all. And it's crazy because I just feel so like sedated almost. And it's like, oh, is this just like how you feel when you're normal and calm? Is this what like being calm feels like? Because I've definitely had no coffee, you know. It's not like there hasn't been a day in years where I've never had caffeine. But to do it like multiple days in a row, it was just kind of interesting. And it was interesting to see like how my body reacted. And then when I did have some coffee, like yesterday, I did have a little bit of cold brew just that I had made, just because I was like, okay, I need to make up for this whole like wasted day. Like, I want to have a little bit of coffee and like clean and do laundry and stuff. But then later I just had, like, kind of had that anxiety feeling, and it was probably also like hangxiety, you know, but mixed with that, it was just like, and then today it's like mostly decaf. I just wanted something, but I did not have any coffee when I woke up. But the first day, I forget which day it was last week, but I didn't have any coffee. By like noon or maybe like 1 p.m., I was on my roof trying to work on my laptop, and I could have passed out right there and then. Like, I was so sleepy. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to take a nap, whatever. And I literally slept. I didn't sleep for that long. It might have been like 20 minutes. But I was sleeping so hard. I woke up and I was like, why are the lights on? Did I fall asleep with the lights on? And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I was like taking a nap in the middle of the day. Like, so then I didn't have any coffee after that. It's not, I think what's been helping me, and I'm not like, I don't know, if you can have coffee and, you know, you don't struggle with, like, obviously there is such thing as too much caffeine just in general, but specifically like if you are dealing with anxiety or maybe just like over stress. And, I know we can all experience extra anxiety from caffeine. I just want to let y'all know the tea, how you can do it. But I think what's really been helping is having alternatives and swapping out. Like I think I was talking about in my vlog, substituting the morning coffee for the bone broth. So funny. Bro, I didn't have any today. I swear the bone broth cured my hangover yesterday though. Like, because I just had a little bit left. I was like, okay, I hope this doesn't make me feel like gross or anything. Because when you just like anything you put in your body after drinking, sometimes it's like, I want to vomit. But it literally settled my stomach. Like I just felt so much better. But substituting that for the coffee has been good because I've talked about before how sometimes a tea, like I just want more of like a rich kind of beverage in the morning, and coffee, like a hot coffee, has that like thickness that I want. Whereas like a peppermint tea is like, I don't know, I just don't always want that first thing. But recently that's been changing. But so doing that, and then like in the afternoon if I crave, that's the thing, I haven't even been craving it, but just like swapping it out, like instead just having water, and like especially a water in one of the things with a straw, cups with a straw, and just like making it a little extra cute of a water. It just helps. And then I'm just thinking recently it's just been like, because I've naturally wanted to do it, it's not like I've been forcing myself like, okay, I'm not gonna have any coffee this week. It's like every day I'm just like, do I really want a coffee? No, not really. Like I just kind of want to see what it's gonna be like. So that's the vibe. So if you've been dealing with extra anxiety, whatever, I would recommend that you try it and just see how you feel. And then also I posted it on my story, but at Whole Foods they have these little like herbal supplement like tincture drops. So I had gotten the kava one before, which is for nervous system, like stress, anxiety. I have also gotten like their echinacea, maybe an elderberry, I don't know, it might have been a different brand. But I saw they had one that's called Good Mood, and it has like ashwagandha in it, St. John's wort, and a couple other herbs that are good for like balancing out your nervous system. So I've been adding that to my peppermint tea. It's only been a couple days, but even that, it's like I'm drinking this knowing that it's actually helping me. And yeah, it's definitely been helping. Also, I've been waking up and doing the Yoga with Adriene, 30-day journey every morning, and that's like the first thing I do, which that has been a little more, not like super have to force myself, but part of me, is sometimes so nice to just wake up and go on Instagram right away and spend like the first 30 minutes, the hour of your day just on your phone. Like nothing like it, like truly, honestly. And especially since it's been kind of cold out recently, she's like, I want to stay in my bed, bro, and not having coffee. I'm like, but I swear, kind of forcing myself to do it, make my beverages, do that right away. Like it really has been helping. When you like know something is good for you and it's going to make you feel good, and then you do it and it actually works, and you're like, oh, who would have thought that having a venti cold brew would, who would have thought that having some peppermint tea and bone broth and Yoga with Adriene and a meditation first thing would make me not feel the same way as having a venti cold brew and 1 hour of Instagram. So just trying to be more mindful. And again, it's not like, I don't know. It's really interesting because I've definitely had phases, if you've been watching me for a while, I go through phases of, oh, I'm not going to drink coffee, or, oh, I'm going to, not go on my phone first thing. But it's never really lasted. And I'm just wondering how it will go this time, since I feel like I'm doing a lot of this just naturally out of like I didn't really like how I was feeling before, and not just like, oh, I want to try this. Like, it's like a challenge. Like, I want to challenge myself for a week or a month to like, get out of bed first thing and do this or whatever. Like, it's like every day. It's like practicing mindfulness, it's like every day I'm asking myself, like, what does my body actually want right now? Like, what's going to make me feel the best throughout this whole day, etc. So if you want to try it. But yeah, just, I think having mindfulness be the goal instead of just like, at least for me, But I know, it can be hard to pick up a new habit like that. And having mindfulness be the goal instead of, I want to accomplish not being on my phone every day for a week. Let's see, I don't know, sometimes that just is more forcing, which I guess sometimes we need to do, sometimes it does work. But instead mindful, it's almost like a gentler approach, because you're genuinely asking yourself and your body, checking in instead of just I'm gonna do this regardless of anything, regardless of how I feel. So yeah, today, y'all, I do have my mostly decaf coffee because I was a little tired from my bullshitting this weekend and I did want to get some stuff done today. So I'm I'm just gonna make it and just see how I feel. If I don't feel like finishing it, I'm not going to. And it's not even really hitting, so I'm probably not gonna finish it, but it did help me because I did have to take a nap today after my leg. Maybe it's the full moon in Cancer too. At the day I'm recording this, I think it is the full moon. Did you have any full moon realizations? Let me know. So let me know if you've been thinking about any of those things. If you've been dealing with extra stress, extra maybe anxiety. I did get a comment on the last episode. This girl said, I totally relate to getting so nervous about having to do a certain thing and it feeling like such a block, I'm going to be there forever. This is very helpful advice to think about what you're going to do after it's over. Love an anxiety hack. And then she said, great podcast, Stella. Thank you so much. Love you. But, oh my God, wait. I don't think I talked about this in that podcast, but I found it after maybe. I found this IG account and I did follow, but I don't know if I'm going to keep following. I was just kind of we'll see. So I'll link the post down below. I did post it on my story, but it's just a little text post that says, when you deal with overwhelming sensations in the body, it's important to remember that you can and will experience well-being again. Ease, flow, comfort, regulation, and safety. And there was a TikTok I've definitely talked about on here multiple times, but they said something I know it's safe to feel off balance because I know I'm always going to return to balance or to just ease. The very act of trusting that your body and nervous system can restore balance holds a positive quality of possibility that is itself regulating. But how do you go about reestablishing that regulation in your body long term? So then he talks about after being overwhelmed, your nervous system may have an increased need for safe and trusting relationships. Keep in mind that you should be feeling safe or safer than baseline in your body for best results. Nervous system soothing skill set. In the meantime, it will be important to find out what supports your body to be at ease and soothed. This is different for everyone, so it will require that you take note of when you feel improvements in your state. You can pay attention to when you feel more calm, curious, social, in flow, and trusting to gauge your nervous system. Notice what supports this. It could involve anything from essential oils to sauna, from cooking to massages, breathing exercises, extra sleep, reading, or singing. In the meantime, do your best to disengage from catastrophizing, worst case scenario thinking, and eternity thinking, assuming it will last forever. And remember that your body has generated regulation before and it can do it again. Hope this helps. That really helped me because I never even really knew that there was a term for that. But yeah, that comment and when I think I was talking about it last week, just that feeling I don't know, my whole life, even when I was a kid, I've just always been kind of a worrier. It's always if I had a presentation in school or something, I would just be so stressed out before leading up to it. But then it actually comes and it's fine and I'm I do great and it's yeah, I knew this would happen, but I actually didn't. I actually was very hardcore stressing, and I know a lot of people probably experience getting nervous before something, but I just feel it's at a different level for me. Just in the change of before and during, and I think a lot of it has to do with the eternity thinking, you're just assuming it will last forever. Maybe even subconsciously, but it's just you don't see life past that. So, I was talking about in last week's episode, just reminding myself, I think I used the example of going on a plane. Like sometimes that can cause anxiety for me. So what's helped me, one of the things that's helped me is like thinking of what I'm going to do after the flight and like imagining getting off and like, getting off the plane safely and like things like that. Like just reminding myself that time is going to go by either way. It's not like you're going to be stuck there forever. Like it's going to be fine. Sometimes it's easier said than done, but yeah. And as far as like nervous system regulation techniques, I would love to hear what helps you guys, but like what helps me is definitely yoga and just physical exercise and movement, even like taking a walk. Yeah, I just feel like the gym, I'm always like calm there. But yeah, yoga especially like breathing exercises. If you guys saw, I posted on my story, the like, what's it called? The nostril breathing, alternate nostril breathing. So you like take your thumb and index finger and you cover one side, you breathe in one side, hold it, switch to the other side, exhale through that nostril, inhale, hold it. You can look it up. Yoga with Adrienne has a video on it. But that can really help. Also, she's talked about the Ujjayi breath, which is like where you kind of make like an ocean sound. Like you kind of constrict the back of your throat when you're breathing, so it sounds like an ocean. And you kind of have to like focus on it a little more, so it puts you back in your body and you're not thinking about having anxiety. Sudoku, knitting, definitely like just talking with somebody, like that could be FaceTiming a friend, but like just having some kind of human interaction. And like I guess if you have social anxiety, maybe that's like not the vibe, but like if you're talking with someone that you already love and trust and know, and not just like going up to a stranger. Cleaning. Yeah, so let me know what helps you guys, but it is really important to take note of these things. Lavender oil, taking a bath. So you kind of have like a little skill set or like toolbox of things that you can do. So when you are experiencing extra stress, if you're experiencing anxiety, it's like what it is, and then like, okay, if I do these things and maybe I'll have to try a couple different of them, I'm going to return back to balance. And I feel like that's like one of the main reasons why, I don't know, like when I was getting panic attacks like in high school, I think that's part of that's one of the main reasons why it was so scary, is because I didn't know what it was. It seemed so random and out of my control and just like terrifying. Like it really feels like you're gonna die, especially if you don't know what it is. So just the fact that you can be aware of what it is and know that there are tools that can help you like restore back to balance, and that you will restore back to balance, that like takes away a lot of the anxiety in and of itself, just because it's not like, you're still safe. Even if you don't feel safe, you are. So I hope that helps. But yeah, and mindfulness, I'm not going to, go on my phone first thing or have a bunch of caffeine first thing if I know it's just gonna like make me more stressed later on. So yeah, hope that helps. Anyway, can't wait to read your comments about that. What helps you regulate your nervous system, calm the fuck down, and what puts you back in your body? Book update. So I finished 3 Women, and I think in the last episode I was talking about how I was almost done with it, but yeah, I finished it. I definitely had to wait until the end to like know what my thoughts were going to be, because it was really going to depend on the ending. So if you don't know, it kind of reads like a novel, but it's based on 3 actual women's lives. One of them has an affair with her English teacher, like in high school. One is in a marriage that's lost its passion, and she reconnects with like her high school crush, having an affair. And then one is happily married to a man who likes to watch her have sex with other men and women. So it's definitely a lot of tea. There's definitely points that are very triggering and just very like heavy subjects you know, and just like, ew. So just like warning if any of that is gonna trigger you. Like some of it was hard for me to read, but like, I don't know, I still could get through it, and it's just kind of nice to have a lot of the issues that we go through as women like recognized. I don't want to give anything away about the book, but there's just like a lot of relatable topics and like, yeah. So, I mean, I guess I would recommend it like depending on if you can tolerate it. Like, not that it's so crazy or like so graphic or anything, but just like some of the, it's like sad. Like a lot of it is just really heartbreaking. And it just kind of, I don't want to say how it ends, but it's not like, it's real, you know? So it's not like this perfect Hollywood movie ending where justice is restored and like they all live happily ever after. Like it's not that. So if you want kind of a depressing read but that's very real, like it was really good, and like I finished it so fast. I guess I would recommend, but yeah, I mean, I'm glad I read it. It's just like kind of heavy. Like I don't want to recommend this to someone and then they like are so triggered reading it. But I mean, I would recommend it because it is really good, and it is like a lot of tea. Like you just I just could not put this book down, you know? Sheesh. Okay, so then switching the vibe, new book alert, a classic. Can't believe I've never read this. I literally am just I'm literally just read the first chapter. Oh, not everyone's watching this. All About Love by Bell Hooks. I will link both of these books down below if you're interested. But this video, why do I keep saying video? This book, I'm like, this TikTok. This book is definitely a lot more essay type vibes. But still, at least in the first chapter, still very like, you know, talks about how women experience love differently than men and how our expectations are different and like things like that. So it's almost like a segue kind of, because this book not like talks about it specifically in the same way that this one does, but there's like themes of that in Three Women. So I'm interested to read this. Look at me saying I'm gonna read one book a month and then reading like 87, but then yeah, like I'll read a bunch of books this month and then next month I won't. No, we'll see. Hopefully that's not the case, but let me know if you've read this book, All About Love. I just feel like it's such a classic that fucking everyone has read, so I'm excited to get through it. And yeah, it's been nice to like have a book. It's like, oh, I actually forgot that reading is fun. But it's like when you have a good book, it's just so much easier to read, and it's not like you have to force yourself to like sit down and read because you just want to, you know? So yeah, I will be updating my Goodreads. And then I have 2 books ready to go after that, so I'm like on a roll. Book updates, yeah. So let me know if you're reading anything right now. You can follow me on Goodreads. I'm really not on there that much, mostly just to like log books and keep track of books. Like I'm not really writing reviews or anything. But I mean, if you want to see the books that I have read, like, yeah. And I don't even know how updated it is. It's like a bunch of books in 2016 where I was like reading, you know, Eckhart Tolle and whatnot, and then it's like now. So I don't really know how. I'm gonna update it now though, you know, like it's updated now as of this year. But anyway, okay, I just wanted to give like a quick little story time. This is what I say when I mean like I just had a bunch of random little updates in the story. Okay, y'all, so I posted on Instagram like a little question thing that was like, what's a food you're embarrassed to like? So I was like reposting people's answers, you know, we had some good conversation. Some people, this one girl was like, rat cookie dough. It's like, babe, that's not embarrassing. Like I literally was like, that is a cute, quaint item. Like that. I'm looking for the answers like, I eat sardines with whipped cream, you know, like, come on. But so yeah, it was really funny. And then I remembered this, okay, I don't even know how to describe this. Then I posted this old photo, and I literally think it's the funniest thing, but I just had to like explain it. Okay, so when I was back home in the summer, my parents had this like just pad of paper out, you know, I don't know, by the phone, not by the phone. Do they even have a home phone? But there's just a pad of paper out, and it looked kind of like old timey. Like it has a little Eiffel Tower on it. It says appointments. Like it looks kind of vintage. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna play a prank on them, and I'm gonna write like. I think I had also recently rewatched like the Kate Kittredge movie. Yeah, she was the American Girl doll that like grew up during the Great Depression. So I was like, I'm gonna write like a Great Depression recipe on this. And then like pretend like I found it in the garage. I'm like, oh my god, look at this ancient like artifact that I found. So I'm just gonna read it. Shirley's depression recipe. And I tried to write it like kind of like how an old person would write it. 1 cup nettle leaves. 3 quarts Victory Garden Deluxe. I don't know if you guys know Molly, the American Girl doll, but they had a Victory Garden because I was like in World War II. 1 can cream of corn. No, like, okay. 4 cups of lead. 1 stream caught trout. 2 package Jello. 4 weenies. Stir and enjoy. Feeds 12 to 30. So I had like written that, and then I just like I think to my dad, I was like, look what I found in the garage. And he just like didn't get it. And like neither of my parents thought it was funny. Like they were like, why are you like dying over this? Like it's not funny. But I was just like imagining like, you know, when people are like, oh, like this was my Mima's recipe that's been like passed down through generations. This is my Mima's favorite like Victory Garden depression recipe. Lux, you know? And like this is the recipe. And like I posted it on my story and literally no one replied until today, like, you know, last minute when it's about to expire on my story. Just, bro, like, why am I the only one that thinks this is so funny? Like, like it's so funny to me, and like it's just like, why does no one think it's as funny as I think it is? Like, and then my mom threw it away. So thank God I got a photo of it, because why would she throw it away? Like, this is literally so funny. Like, when I went back for Thanksgiving, I was like, oh, where's my Great Depression recipe? Because I had, like, put it on the fridge. And she's like, I thought the joke was over, so I threw it away. Thank God I got a photo. You know what's going to reset my nervous system? Looking at this photo, okay? Like, let me put in my favorites right now. Oh my God, it's so funny. Stir and enjoy. Like, imagine. Like, just imagine. And you know there's, like, a recipe like this. They're like, this is my Mima's favorite Shirley's depression recipe. Oh my God. Like, is it too niche? Like, did you guys not watch Kit Kittredge? Did you guys not have to feed 12 to 30 people in the boarding house? Did you guys not get a stream caught trout? Comment down below if it's funny or not. Actually, I don't care, because I think it's funny, and that's all that matters. Anyway, I just had to like share that embarrassment. The real embarrassing food of all time was Shirley's depression recipe that no one thought was a joke. Like, just imagining so many people clicking through that and like thinking it was real, or like not knowing what it was and just like not saying anything. POV, you're clicking through Stella Ray's story and she has Shirley's depression recipe on there, and you think it's like an actual like, I'm just sharing Mima's recipe. Just wanted to like check in with you guys and share Mima's recipe. Is that what people thought? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I've been having too much fun on IG recently. Yeah, so that's the story of Shirley's depression recipe. It's the 4 cups of lead for me. Yeah, sorry. It's just like horrifying. Shirley's depression recipe. Let's talk about it. What can you substitute for lead in Shirley's depression recipe? Thank you so much for your comment. I truly appreciate it. Let's talk about it. Anyways, so that's like how I entertain myself. But people were saying like really funny things. That's gonna be the part that I put on my Instagram, that clip, because I need people to know, like, I need to explain the joke to you guys? Like, I mean, I guess we're kind of over this. Yeah. A lot of people said mayonnaise. Okay, people were saying like different vegetables, like asparagus. Someone was like, Brussels sprouts are so embarrassing to like. It's like, no, they're not. Brussels sprouts are actually like very trendy. It's not embarrassing. Like, if someone's making you feel bad for eating Brussels sprouts, like, you need to check that relationship. Like, is this someone you still really want in your life or not, you know? Multiple people said asparagus. Like, what? And multiple people also said McDonald's fish fillet. Oh my god. Love a sauerkraut. Multiple people said sardines. Sardines do hit sometimes. I haven't had them in like a long time, but me and my dad would always like eat a sardine. I don't know why, that was like our thing. Anyway, that's the fucking vibe. So in a more serious topic, I wanted to talk about this TikTok that's kind of going around, at least at the time of me recording this. This girl was just like, I want to wake up in the morning and make breakfast for me and my husband and send him to work, and then I want to go to yoga, and then I want to make lunch and have him come home for lunch, and then I want to go on a walk, and then I want to make dinner, and then I want to go to the gym, and then that's it. That's all I want to do. So it's like, okay, like I feel you for sure. Someone tweeted it. Wait, I actually retweeted it. The women before us fought for the right to work, not because labor is fun, but because relying on men financially resulted in financial abuse and restricted women's freedom. No one hates labor more than me, but putting my life in a man's hands sounds more daunting than a 9-to-5. And that's the real tea. Like, y'all, do you understand? Like, and I've talked about this subject before, just in terms of the whole, like, oh, I miss our grandparents' generation, like when it comes to dating and whatnot. Like, oh, they really just stayed together. It's like, no, Mima wasn't allowed to get a job and be financially independent, so she was actually forced to stay with Peepaw, who was, like, physically abusing her every day. Like, that's not goals, babe. That's patriarchy. And same for this. Like, that's not to say if you want to be a stay-at-home wife or whatever, like, oh, that's like a bad thing. But like, the person had posted the TikTok and said, like, I'm sensing a cultural shift as women start realizing working sucks. And I just see tweets, like, not all the time, but sometimes I'll see like a tweet or a post that's like, why? And I know some of them are kind of joking, but just that vibe of like, oh, like, why did women work so hard for us to be able to work? Like, this sucks. And it's like, it's not like, it's like, babe, the opposite. Like, ew. Ugh. Like, I just think of some of the guys in this world, and like, imagine having to be with them out of like, you know, just because you don't have another option. And that's just like how the world has worked for so long. So definitely get your own coins. What's the City Girl quote? I forget the exact lyric. Oh my god, I'm gonna sound so dumb. I could buy it, but I would rather he buy it. Period. Hello. But like, that's not like relying. You know, we need to have a backup plan. And that's, you know, when a woman would be gifted just like some random gold bracelets or something as a wedding gift, and it's like, this is not to wear, but it's like, in case you have to leave him, you'll have, you know, something that you can pawn or sell or whatever, because it's not like you can have your own bank account. So I would love to know your thoughts on that. And also with the whole stay-at-home girlfriend thing, I don't know if it's just one girl on TikTok, like, her videos don't come up all the time, but I've seen a couple of them, and it's like, day in my life as a stay-at-home girlfriend. I don't know how much of that is, I don't know, I feel like with this one specific girl, like she actually quit her job because her boyfriend provides for her. And the thing is, like, you're not even married. So like he could just leave you one day and like you would essentially have nothing and you'd have this huge gap in your resume. And like, I don't know, like I don't know her situation, so maybe that wouldn't happen. Like, you know, maybe she even does still work or whatever. But like, ugh. Like I love the idea of a man being a provider, but I also, you know, want my own shit because men are still gonna be men at the end of the day. You just like, bro, you just want to have your own like agency over your life. To completely rely on someone, like, ew, like I just think of being a kid and, you know, you couldn't even like go to the mall because you had no money and you had to like ask your parents and they'd be like, no. And then it's like, what am I supposed to do now? You know, like that fucking sucked. Like imagine that as an adult, like, ew. So again, that's not to say like, oh, if you want to be a stay-at-home mom or wife, like, do you even care about feminism? But it's just like, I don't know. There should be like the option. Like, are you choosing that or are you forced to do that because you have nothing? Like, you're not allowed to work or like you can't, you know? So then there was this article from The Atlantic titled "The Professional Women Who Are Leaning Out. The Competing Demands of Work and Motherhood Have Some White-Collar Women Choosing Part-Time Work and Loving It." And I'll link it down below. But what was the intro? Yeah. To be a working mother during a global pandemic is to be constantly torn between your kids and your clients. For this one woman, having it all meant listening to her 6-year-old sob and bang on her door in search of comfort and not being able to give it to him because she was in the middle of an important call. The distance that you have as a parent working outside of the home keeps you from seeing these things. But then this article also just really reminded me of like how so much is expected of women and it's just like never enough. Like if you choose to work full-time, it's like, well, why aren't you at home being a good mother to your children and why aren't you at home being a good wife? And then if you choose to be a stay-at-home mom, it's like, well, do you not even care about feminism? Like, do you even care about having a career? Like, I wish I could just stay home all day. And a lot of the labor that, you know, emotional labor and physical labor that it takes to run a household and take care of children just so often goes overlooked. And, you know, fathers are so often praised for like the bare minimum. And, you know, women, mothers are like always doing everything and like actually parenting and not just like being there to hang out. So it's like, we really just like, what can we do? In the US, high-paying part-time jobs are not very common. Oh, and then in this article, they were talking about how in other places, like Dutch women and Swiss women are more likely to have part-time jobs. In the US, high-paying part-time jobs are not very common because American bosses tend to frown on workers asking to work less. And existing part-time jobs are less likely to come with high salaries or good benefits. For more American women to work part-time, more companies would have to be willing to hire people part-time. Childcare would have to get cheaper and more accessible because some women currently couldn't even afford part-time childcare. Paid parental leave would have to become a standard beyond the widest of white-collar work so that having a baby didn't mean risking your job and livelihood. Higher wages would help make the math work too, and women would need some time on their hands to push for these things. By making women so stressed out, so time scarce, we've also limited their ability to be active politically and to advocate for what they need. Making part-time work possible for everyone would also require erasing some of its stigma. Instead of saying they work part-time, it's often more acceptable for professional American women to say they're consulting or freelancing. Entrepreneurship is a proud American tradition. Taking it easy is not. And then talking about this founding partner of a public affairs firm, she decided to go part-time. She describes herself as an all-in person, someone who never does anything halfway. My identity for myself had become wrapped in this idea of being a big bad boss bitch, she said. She came to see the new job, the part-time job, as still being all in, but all in for her family, and maybe even all in for her own mental and physical health. Feminism, these women decided, doesn't have to be all about work. Sometimes, in fact, it can mean relaxing a bit, especially in the middle of a global emergency. This one woman quit her law firm job in March, and since then she's been working on a book. She also joined a smaller law firm run by her friends, which will require fewer hours and offer her more control over her career. I think you're a feminist if you're making choices for yourself. So, interesting article. I'll link it down below, but yeah, just like brought up a lot of different ideas like for me, and especially related to that TikTok, you know. I just went like, why would we have to work? It's like we should have the option to work. Like, so I would love to hear your thoughts on this. If you are married or in a relationship, specifically with a man, are you like, do you still work? Do you not? What are your thoughts? What do you plan to do? Like, what could you envision yourself doing if you're not like at that stage yet? What's my answer? Like, I'm just like, I just want to make the Stella podcast forever. So thanks. And yeah, I like what they say at the end of this article about feminism doesn't have to be all about work. Sometimes it can mean relaxing a bit, because there's also this idea that like, I don't know, I feel like so much, it just made me think of this, like so much of, we do live in a patriarchal society, and I feel like this model of like, you just have to work as much as you can, and like, the more hours the better, grinding, hustle culture, I don't know, it's that very like patriarchal capitalism type of mindset. But like, I like how they say the new job is still being all in, but all in for family and for your own mental and physical health. And you're not like a failure because you're choosing to work less or saying no to a project or something, or saying no to somebody. Just looking at life more holistically instead of like, I'll sleep when I'm dead, the grind never stops. Entrepreneurship, do you even own an LLC? Like, I love a baddie, boss babe, but like, how can we be more holistic and take everything into account? And I mean, these are kind of like all different like facets, but kind of the same overarching idea. I also would recommend, as I always do when we kind of talk about this subject, the book Why Women Have Better Sex Under Socialism. And they also give examples in that book of, I forget the specific countries. I want to say like Sweden. I forget. But just where childcare is, more affordable, and like just how things are set up differently there compared to the United States. Yeah, that's a really good book, really good read. It has to do with a lot of these kind of topics. So if you're interested, check it out. It's a pretty quick read. Yeah, I really liked it. I should actually reread that. But just that idea of like, when you have your own money, you're more likely to choose a partner, not because of financial security or domestic security, but because you actually like vibe. And then, it gave examples of like what that looks like in different parts of the world, etc. So would definitely recommend. Another book recommendation. Look at me on my reading vibes. So yeah, I'll link this article down below as well, but I would love to hear your thoughts on that. Yeah, very interesting. So it actually is officially Mercury retrograde, and we kind of talked about it last week, but just a quick reminder, y'all. This is actually from Cosmopolitan. Wait, I don't know if I wanted to read from this one. This particular Mercury retrograde is happening in the sign of Aquarius. If you're a fixed sign like me, Aquarius, Taurus, Leo, or Scorpio, you're feeling this transit the strongest. If you're a Libra or a Gemini, you're getting off easy this time. Whenever Mercury goes retrograde, it means you gotta slow down. People, projects, and relationships from your past are likely coming back around. Retrogrades are a time to revisit the past, review circumstances, and rework how to move on, or even decide to reintroduce that past person, project, or thing to your current life. Retrogrades pull your focus towards the past, so you shouldn't make any major decisions about your future right now. If you've been waiting to start something, sign a big contract, get a new iPhone for the Stella vlogs, I suggest you keep on waiting till after the retrograde ends on February 3rd. And because this retrograde is in Aquarius, the sign of social circles, pay special attention to your crew. You might discover that someone you thought was a good friend is actually a frenemy, but don't jump to any conclusions. If you need to start a tough convo or have the talk, make sure you think very carefully about what you want to say and how you want to say it. You're being given a chance to find closure for good. Retrogrades are a time to clear out baggage so you can step back into life as your best self. Good luck. And I know I've talked about it, over these past few weeks with the new year, new me vibes and all of that, but I kind of love when the year starts out with a retrograde because it's like we can just really review everything from the past year, and we're already kind of on that theme. Maybe not as much now since we're later into January, but it's the beginning of the year. We're still kind of on that vibe of like planning for the year and like what don't I want to be like last year, etc. So it's just a good time to do that. And I feel like after Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde, we're just gonna like know what we want going forward. I feel it's gonna be like, okay, so it's not a time to freak out, it's not a time to be stressed, babe. We know we have our toolbox of stress and anxiety relief hacks, so we're just gonna apply those. We're gonna do our yoga with Adrienne, we're gonna do our meditation, we're not gonna have too much caffeine, we're gonna listen to the Stella podcast, not drink too much tequila, if at all, make some bone broth, and just like really get into that journaling sesh and read our book all about love. But yeah, journaling, let me read a few of the things. Bougie Billy send you a snap that I saw from, what's it called, Leap of Faith quotes on IG. I love their infographics about astrology. I'll link it down below, and if I ever forget to link something and you want it, just let me know. Sometimes it's just like I forget, but I feel like recently I've been really good at linking everything. Mercury retrograde checklist. Double check all texts and emails. Pause and think before you speak. Triple check appointments. Journal any difficult emotions. Have a digital detox. Reset and ground in nature. Meditate. Back up your technology. Leave extra time to get to destinations. Finish old projects. Hold off buying new technology. What have I been saying? Double check contracts. Obviously, some things we just can't avoid. You may need to sign a contract. You may need to sign a new lease. Whatever. You might meet someone and want to go on that date, even though you're like, oh, I shouldn't start new relationships. But like, it's just kind of like, oh, keep in mind. Just double check everything. If you can hold off, do it. But it's like, you can't let astrology literally run your life, because life still has to go on, and we do live in this modern society. So no need to fear. But just like, I think, yeah, really slowing down, mindfulness, babes. And we can get through it. And just like journaling. I need to do that today. And we'll be fine. So let me know your sign. Are you a fixed sign? Is this going to impact us more? It's already been in its shadow period, and Venus has already been retrograde, so we're gonna be fine. Like, don't worry about it. I think that's all I have to talk about this week. I do feel like I was kind of all over the place, but that's kind of just how I'm feeling on this like kind of day 2 hangover. Not really, but like I'm not really hungover, but I'm just kind of like, I need to reset, review, etc. I'm about to make some lunch. I feel like my stomach keeps making noise. So I'm going to do that. Thank you guys so much for listening. Let me know your thoughts on anything we discussed today in a comment down below. And I will talk to you guys next week. Bye, everyone.